This video is going to look at the effects of a change in the demand for labour in the labour market. This diagram is showing the supply and demand for labour, and if you're unsure about how this works, you should go and watch an earlier video that explains how we arrive at WE, which is the equilibrium wage rate. There are some things that could cause the demand for labour to change. The main thing that we need to know is that demand for labour is derived demand. We call it derived demand because the demand for labour is derived from the demand for the goods and services that labour produces. So it would make sense then that if people demanded more of a particular product, then businesses would have to demand more of the labour that produced that product. So an increase in the demand for the product that is produced in this industry will lead to an increase in the demand for the labour used to produce that particular product. So this product has had the demand increased, and it's led to an increase in the demand for labour from DL to DL2. In order to produce more products, we can see here that the increase in the demand for labour has led to an increase in the number of workers who are employed, and that's increased from QE to QE2. And in order to entice those workers, the wage rate has increased from WE to WE2. The main thing that will lead to a change in the demand for labour is the demand for the products which the labour produces. There are some other things that could influence it. For example, if this product can be made either using capital or machinery, some kind of computerised process, or it could be made using labour. If labour becomes more productive, then workers will replace their machinery with workers, and that will lead to an increase in the demand for labour. So increased labour productivity can also lead to an increase in demand for labour, which would have the same effect on the equilibrium wage and the equilibrium number of workers. In the same way, if the demand for the product that is being made was to fall, businesses would want to make less of that particular product, and that will lead to them decreasing the demand for the labour which produces that product. So again, the demand for labour is a derived demand, and it's derived from the demand for the products that labour produces. If we have less of that product demanded, we'll have less labour demanded for that product, and that will lead to a decrease in the number of workers who are hired and a decrease in the wage level. So as a result of the decrease in the demand for labour, we have less workers being hired, and there's a lower wage rate paid. The same thing could happen if there was a decrease in labour productivity, or more likely an increase in the productivity of capital in producing this particular good. So if there was a new piece of machinery that was able to produce a product in a cheaper way, then businesses will hire less workers to produce that product.